Well, hello. Hello, hello. All right, we are live today on Unwrapped. Hopefully, I'm coming across loud and clear. Nope. There we go. Don't want to mute myself. Well, hello there. I am Sari Kimbell. I am the creator of Food Business Success, and I help people who have a delicious dream in their home kitchen take it out into the world as a profitable packaged food business. So that is what we do inside Food Business Success in our online program or with one-on-one business coaching. So today, I wanted to talk about a topic. I usually get a lot of inspiration as I'm working with my clients and the issues that they're coming up against and the things that we're solving. So I wanted to talk about today expanding your team. So when you are ready as a brand owner, as a founder, business owner, that you think this is the time, I'm ready to grow my team in a couple, in numerous different ways, but grow it to be able to grow you, right? Grow the business. And I want to talk about a couple of key things. I want to talk about just sort of legal things that you need to know, like technically what you can do in what buckets and what you need to know about hiring. I want to talk about some of the positions that you might want to consider when you're growing your team, and then give you some ideas on how to actually find people, right? Like that's and in this time more than ever, it's more and more challenging to find people as we're working through COVID and yeah, labor has been really a challenging issue. No question about that. So the first thing to know is, first you want to think about what is the end goal that I'm wanting with this expansion? Why do I want to grow my team? I really like to think about things in terms of results versus just this is what I should do. This is what people are telling me to do. But does it really make sense for your business to take on contractors or to take on employees? Now, you get to decide, you get to make your own rules. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, and I help people figure that out, and we look at the actual cost analysis of that, right? But it's always a question. For instance, some of the categories I often see are manufacturing. Like, does it make more sense to continue to self-manufacture? And if I need to grow, I'm ready to expand, I'm having trouble keeping up with demand, which I'm working with a couple clients in that boat right now. Does it make sense for me to hire? We'll say hire people. We'll talk about the different categories here in a second, but hire some extra people, some extra hands to help me with self production and continue to keep the manufacturing in house versus going to a co-packer, right? And so those are some of the questions that we need to look at on the back end on the finances. But that might be one reason that you're looking to expand your team. I'm working with a client now who wants to expand her farmers market team. She has really found a lot of success at the couple of markets that she's at, and she wants to grow her presence through the area. So, does it make, so we're looking at that plan. What does that plan look like? How many people? How much is it going to cost her? What does that structure look like to bring people in to help her actually be at the farmer's market? She can't physically be at all of those places. And, we feel like that is a really good strategy for her right now with her product and her goals. So that might be an area that you want to expand your team. Other things might be, I talk about like an entrepreneur has to wear all the hats at the beginning. You're the janitor and the bookkeeper and the social media and the marketing and and right, and the baker and the maker and the salesperson. So if you want to take off one of those hats, you're growing your business. I really encourage you to kind of know every aspect of your business at the beginning. But if doing social media isn't in your wheelhouse, it's not in your, I like to call it zone of genius. Get that from Gay Hendricks, but If you're not in that area that you really love and you really are putting, your best energy, your best work into, so it might be bookkeeping is often one that people take the hat off. Um, or it might be like you want to really level up, right? So now you want to work with somebody who's maybe going to do photography for you, or do social media posting, or do graphic design. Um, or you may want to work with a business coach, like somebody like myself, right? So you may want to either for growth or just to give yourself a little more bandwidth to take off one of those hats. You may want to hire a contractor, an independent freelance contractor that can help you with a very specific aspect of your business. So typically those are kind of the three areas that I see. I mean, certainly sometimes people are just looking for an assistant, maybe, to help them with some of the like lower level tasks so that they can free up some of their time to do higher level tasks. So something to like, let's just talk about the categories here. So when we're talking about a contractor, a true freelance contractor has their own business, right? I'm a contractor with my own business. Um, my dentist is a contractor, a bookkeeper, right? Somebody who has a social media company. So typically we're going to see people who actually have like LLCs or something like that. But of course, it could be more like it could be an individual that you're going to they're good at social media, for instance, and maybe they don't have an official business, but they're going to do this kind of on the side as a contractor position. That's okay. There are some things on the back end that you really should have an EIN. When you're small, you're probably not going to be a huge red flag, but as you get larger, hiring contractors, this is a really sticky area where you could get into some hot water with the IRS, with your state's uh, employee, different departments. So the word I'm looking for, labor offices. So you want to be very careful. This is definitely an area where businesses can get really dinged. So think, like I said, graphic designer, photographer, social media coach like myself, bookkeepers, those are usually very legitimate contract positions. Where it gets into the gray area for most of you, because I know it's a lot, is when it is somebody helping you at a farmer's market, somebody helping you with production. So it's much more of a direct helping you with your business in specific ways. And these are typically going to be individuals, right? We're not hiring like a demo team or a broker firm or like a company that's supplying us with labor. You're hiring like one-to-one person to come and help you. Now, the IRS defines it as it's basically like you cannot direct how I do things. So let's say we'll just talk about me. So me as a contractor, you can't tell me as an independent contractor like what equipment I should use or exactly how to go about my job, right? You're not directing my activities, directly where you could then fire me and to not do that. When that's why it gets pretty gray when you're talking about a farmers market employee or if you're trying to keep them contractor or production, because technically if you're telling them they need to be at a place at a certain time, that is where you start getting into the gray area, because you are now telling them, you're directing their activities. So I would just say there's like the legal way of doing things, the things that are going to be the right way of doing them. I'm putting quotes, the right way of doing them for the IRS. And then there is what happens, and certainly a lot of people do use contract labor for production and for farmers market help, maybe even for sales, that kind of thing. I actually used to run a sales program where I hired a contractor who was doing sales, and then a company, like a brand, would hire me, my company, to be like an independent sales rep. Versus, but like they did not tell me, that the people hiring my company didn't tell me when we needed to go, right? And they didn't tell me exactly where. And they weren't being super specific. They just had, it was more of like an outcome base. So there's lots more rules about it, but I will say generally, this is an area where, in those two categories with markets and production, that most likely you have hired an employee, but you may be treating them like a contractor. So contractor, it just means you're paying them upfront in full. You're not taking out any taxes. You ultimately need to issue them a 1099 at the end of the year. You should be doing that. I mean, I certainly know lots of brands who pay people under the table, pay them cash, all of that. Just telling you the way it's supposed to be. Technically, I believe that they should have on file with the IRS, or with their state, that they are a sole proprietorship, using their social security number if they are an individual, or of course, if it's a business, then you'll make that 1099 out to a EIN number. So important to as a business, as we're coming up on the end of the year, you don't have to, but you can request 1099s of people like myself or photographers or anything over $600, and then you can have your bookkeeper, your accountant, send a person like me a 1099. So you would collect a W-9 and then send out a 1099. So most likely, many of you, or some of you, the positions that you either have or that you want to grow into are already an employee status. Now, the thing with that is it is an additional expense, because this was something I never understood till I became a business owner. As an employee, you just sort of take this for granted, but the business, the boss, the paying company, is going to be paying half of your your workman's comp and your unemployment insurance. So there's things that an employer is paying that you don't even realize necessarily is sort of being subsidized into your paycheck. In addition, I, as the company, also need to work with somebody. You're probably going to want to work with a payroll company. You don't really want to mess around with the taxes and the workman's comp insurance and stuff like that. So you're going to have an added fee of your bookkeeper of cutting those checks. And the more frequently you pay people, the more their hours vary, the more that you're going to have to pay, because they're going to have to be doing more work on their end. So Social Security, things like that are in there. So generally, when I was looking at bringing on somebody, it was about, I can't remember exactly now, but it seemed like it was like $18 as an employee was the same as like 20 something for a contractor. So, but when you're an employee, you don't really understand all the benefits that you're getting, right? Because as a contractor, you have to file all your own taxes, pay the self-employment tax, pay the Social Security, all that stuff. So, so you have to decide, like, market wages, like, can I offer a lower amount as an employee, because I'm going to be paying a lot more for all these additional things on top. But technically, most likely, if you are telling somebody they need to be somewhere and wear something specific and use specific equipment to help you produce, then they are an employee. If you are telling somebody that they need to be at a certain market and wear certain things, then they are an employee. Now, you can structure your pay. I have a lot of people that I do recommend this, that you structure the pay, especially for a market, to be kind of half base compensation and half commission. I think when people have more skin in the game, right, they're more invested, they're showing up on time, they're not just sitting on their phone. Some of the things I talk about in the Farmers Market Masterclass. So I would say, look at maybe a partial kind of commission structure, where for every jar they sell, they get a dollar or whatever, right? So it really is helping to incentivize them to be a good salesperson. So I think that's what I want to talk about as far as kind of the types of the categories to look at. We do get questions a lot inside food business success about how do I find people to work with me in all of these various roles, right? I mean, obviously, different if it's like a photographer or business coach or um, social media or something like that. But finding those market employees, finding the production, I think those are the two areas that people are most looking into. So it's like I said, labor is not the easiest thing. I will say, however, people who do want to work are that there is opportunity out there because you are offering something that's sort of a side hustle. It's flexible. Maybe it's weekend hours or evening hours. So they could people are looking to make a little extra money. They could work it outside of sort of their normal 8 to 5 if they have that. So look at it as a benefit potentially that you might attract some people who want to just make a little extra money. I would try to keep it as flexible as possible. So places that I've seen work well are maybe using Nextdoor, posting on there that you're looking for help, especially if it's like local in your area. I mean, honestly, the best place that you can start is your circle of influence, right? Tell all of your friends, tell anybody you talk to, like, hey, I'm looking for XYZ. I'm looking for somebody who's available on weekends for a couple of hours on Saturday or Sunday to do a market. I'm looking for evening shift work, try to pay it as well as you can. And then just, use your circle of influence. Like, it could look a lot of different ways, right? Again, make it super flexible. Like if you can attract stay-at-home moms who can come in when their kids are at school, right? But keep things pretty flexible so that they can work around the times that they need to pick up kids or whatever like that. So, I would say just, posting on your Facebook, emailing people, just doing direct outreach, posting in any Facebook groups that you're a part of, whether they're food related or not, just what you're looking for. Facebook groups that are food related, or if you're in some Slack groups that are food related. We've also talked about inside food business success, putting signs up at your farmers market booth saying that you're hiring. You never know, retirees or like I said, stay-at-home moms or something like that, like could be a really college students potentially. I mean, you want to get ones that are gonna be excited to be there, and you want to definitely look for good qualities of salesmanship. But can you find people who are already going to the farmers market who love it and are like, oh yeah, it'll be fun to be here for 5 hours on Saturday, make a little extra cash. Culinary schools potentially could be an especially for production. But also Craigslist you could post. I mean, you do have to generally pay to post a want ad on there. I generally don't see people go so far as like Indeed or something like that. But yeah, use all of your areas, your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, things like that. So even on your website, right? Just letting people know you're hiring. A lot of times, I mean, the best way to get good employees is word of mouth, right? And referral. And so it might not be it's like that 1 degree or 6 degrees of separation, right? It might not be the person that you know, but that person knows all of these other people. And then those people know all of these other people. So I think one of the hardest things I see entrepreneurs struggle with is putting themselves out there, right? Asking people for help. And I'll just say that I really believe that people want to help you. Even if they don't know you, we are actually wired like we want to help. And so it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to put yourself out there. Like nothing's gone wrong. You're not weak or weird or anything like that. So I know people get kind of weird about like they're scared to put it out there. But you just never know where it's going to come. And that's part of being an entrepreneur, is putting yourself out there. So those are some of my tips and thoughts on hiring, expanding your team. Make sure you understand what the purpose is and not just that you want to work less. I mean, I guess that could be a reason that you want to work less. But usually people want to grow their team because they want to grow as a business, or they want to take on different pieces of the business. Um, so be very thoughtful about it, and don't just do it, like I said, because other people tell you you should do it. You get to make your own path. I would love to help you create your own roadmap, create your own path on this journey. If you'd like to come work with me, you can go to foodbizsuccess.com. You can apply for the online program, or you can go to sarikimbell.com. We'll put all these links in there in the comments, but you can go to sarikimbell.com and apply for one-on-one business coaching. So either way, I got your back. We're gonna help you grow your team if that's where you're at, or when the time is right, we will help you grow your team. All right, that's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching Unwrapped today. I hope this was really helpful. Please write in any questions below. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know that you like videos like this, and let me know what other topics you're looking for. Would love to help here on Unwrapped. All right, thanks so much. I'm Sari Kimbell. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Have a great day.